3 years ago, I had my first Nissan 240SX. At the time, an affordable rear-wheel drive car with a manual transmission. The perfect combination for a 90s Japanese sports car. And at one stage, I wanted to find a set of wheels for it. Two styles really stood out to me. The OEM Plus race-inspired LM GT2s by Rays and the shiny chrome Blitz 03s. For months, I went back and forth on what I should buy, with both sets of wheels being relatively affordable at $2,000 US. I was never able to make the commitment to get any of these wheels since I sold my car in favor of a Mazda Miata. However, this year I was able to acquire the legendary Nissan Skyline GTR R32, and this time I was going to pull the trigger and get one of those wheel sets. I went to sites such as Facebook, eBay, and even going as far as looking at Japanese auction websites. And to my surprise, the price of a set of Nismo LMGT2s had risen to $10,000 US, and Blitz 03s were now ranging for around $6,000 US. The dreams of driving around on a set of really cool period-correct wheels became nothing more than just a dream. So why is it that these wheels that are manufactured nearly 30 years ago with insufficient forging techniques are worth more than quadruple what they were sold for in the 1990s? And it's not just the wheels. Steering wheels, shift knobs, seats, body panels, gauges, everything. It's all gone up significantly in price. The answer when you get down to it is quite simple, and it's supply and demand. But when did the demand start to overweigh the supply? To figure that out, we're going to have to go back and look exactly at what was happening in the 1990s in Japan. In the early 1990s, the Japanese automotive scene was going crazy. Legendary cars like the Mazda RX-7, the Nissan Skyline GTR, and the Toyota Supra reigned supreme over the racetracks and highway roads of Japan. Many of the owners of these cars wanted to go faster, and they wanted their cars to be different from others. Companies like Top Secret, Blitz, HKS, and Trust marketed parts through catalogs and magazines, so a lot of the parts were only made to order. This was before a time when the internet was non-existent, so not many people could access these catalogs unless they were on a mailing list. Another factor was that these companies mostly produced their parts in Japan and never outsourced to places like China or America, causing limited numbers of these parts to be placed into circulation. A great example of this would be the tuning company Abbey Road Company, or otherwise known as ARC. Known for their specialization in titanium parts, they gained quite a following, but due to the high labor costs and high cost of materials, they had to shut their doors in 2008. However, they have restructured the company in 2014, but no more titanium products were produced, only parts such as radiators, shift knobs, and filters. But this has caused their titanium products to be worth almost triple what they were originally sold for. The whole concept of these golden era parts from the 1990s has even become quite profitable for a select few people who have warehouses filled with rare wheels, body kits, and seats. One of those people is my friend in Oregon, Bo Gout. Bo has been wheeling and dealing and hoarding parts for almost a decade now. Before COVID, I had the pleasure of visiting his warehouse, and I can say that his collection doesn't disappoint at all. I was able to get Bo on a Zoom call and ask him some questions about what he thinks about the current situation on these golden era parts.
So you've been doing like what you've been doing for a long time, like around with your wheels and like selling them and stuff. How long have you been doing that?
So probably for the better part of 10 years, like personally, and then from a business for, I think this is be my 6th year.
Okay, got it. And so when you started, what was it like? Was it like really cheap and affordable?
Yeah, so not only were the costs of the goods cheap, but the logistics. If I were starting now with no money, it's not possible. I'm only able to do it now because I can afford to fill up a container full of wheels.
Right.
But yeah.
So why do you think like you definitely agree that in like the past 2 years it's really like just gone up. So like why do you think
past 2 years for sure, but more the past year have I seen a crazy increase. And I think it has to do with a lot of things. I think coronavirus had a huge impact on the price of stuff, and that is mainly due to what I think is people sitting at home all day, building their cars and kind of dreaming, and now they have the time to finally check some boxes off the list they've been having for their project cars. Yeah, I think the other aspect of it is the social media flex culture, if you want to call it that.
Mhm.
And a lot of these influencers, the big YouTubers like Adam LZ, kind of hyping up certain things, and
Yeah,
then all
definitely.
these guys wanting to mimic their idols on YouTube. So
Oh yeah, I heard that he
they,
recently said something like, "Oh, if you don't have like Ganondorms on your car, like, or something like that." I don't know if it was him. I heard some YouTuber said that, and now
yeah.
Ganondorm prices are through the roof.
So yeah, I think that's another part of it too. And these YouTube guys are willing to pay the big bucks because they're literally making money off these things they buy, because it drives traffic to their videos and they're selling merch and whatever. So they don't care how much something costs, really, because they're making so much money off the content.
Right.
And that kind of will drive up the market price. So it's like,
Got
well, Ganondorms are selling for $3,000, and I guess that's what they cost.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's almost like an artificial value of things, because what a YouTube guy is willing to pay is not what I think it should be worth, because some guy trying to build his car to not make money on it shouldn't have to pay that much. But that's what
How do you like personally feel like about like the price gouging? Because it's been getting kind of crazy too recently.
I don't know who the victim is really here. I don't know if I want to call it gouging, because at least if you're buying direct from Japan, because the only one who's losing is the guy paying the price, because it'll be a no reserve auction most of the time, and maybe a clueless seller in Japan. So you could get guys just going all out and bidding against each other. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it gouging. And importers like me might catch a lot of flack for what people perceive to be selling things for too much money.
Think we'll ever see an end to like the price spike? Do you think it'll ever go down? Or like, do you think like maybe in 20 years people will just be like, whatever, it's a 90s car again? Like,
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I keep saying that things can't get any more expensive, and then the next day things get more expensive. So obviously there's going to be a ceiling. When we hit that, I don't know. And I think right now it's a case of a lot of these guys who dreamt of having these cars and parts when they were younger now have the money to get these parts. So I don't think things are going to get cheaper, but I can't see them realistically getting that much more expensive, because I'm sure some of these things that are selling, exotic car guys like Ferrari guys are thinking, what the $5,000 for a steering wheel? You guys are crazy. And it's like, we never thought we'd see the day where something like a Mugen steering wheel is going for $5,000, but yeah, here we are.
Yeah, no, definitely.
The high prices definitely take some of the fun out of it as an enthusiast. Constantly having to adapt.
Yeah.
What I bought 3-4 years ago is not what I'm buying today.
Right.
And people, that's kind of where I got my following, was from stuff I was buying years ago. A lot of these rare, Mugen spoon or tuner kind of Mazda speed, that type of stuff. So yeah, I get people constantly asking, hey, do you have this? Do you have that? It's like, well, I did years ago when I could make a profit on it and sell it for a reasonable price. But now it's like, yeah, you can find the stuff in the auctions in Japan, and you're welcome to overpay for it. But from a business point of view, yeah, a lot of these like hyped up things does not make sense for me to buy.
So what is this site that everyone is using to even find this stuff? Surely not everyone outside Japan has a direct home address in Japan to use sites like Yahoo Auctions. But sites like Buy make it possible for the simplest person with an internet connection and an address to purchase things and have them shipped directly to their doorstep. Now, Buy isn't an automotive exclusive site. You can find many other things such as anime, clothes, toys, video games, anything. Though shipping is expensive, it still has made it quite easy for these rare parts to become spread across the globe. It is unclear if we will ever see the prices of these parts go down due to the amount of Japanese automotive enthusiasts out there, and with many more people becoming fans every day. One thing is for certain though, and that's that these parts are very cool and can be appreciated by anyone. The era of 90s designs is one of my favorite periods for automotive design, and it can be seen in these parts too. I know that every month my collection grows a little bit bigger, and my appreciation for the time period grows bigger as well, because in the end, it's not about money. It's about the preservation of automotive history.